probably only be like 3 people watching.
No, there's like 57.
Oh, you're ready to go?
Yeah, you're
Okay, let's go.
You're good.
Okay.
How about it?
Are we live?
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
You're supposed to give us the countdown to 3,
Jason
2.
knows by now. Once he tells me, he's like, "Oh yeah, are we live? We're live. You just gotta go."
Oh, so we're going right now?
Yeah.
Oh,
You're
okay.
live.
How many confirmations do we need?
You need another one?
Do the count. Will you do a countdown,
All right,
please?
so 3, 2, 1.
Now we're
Oh,
live.
yeah,
Got
I thought
it.
he was messing with us.
I feel bad. Well, I thought he was at first.
Yeah. What's up, guys? We haven't done anything from the CSM page yet this year, so I got Dave Varner here with us, Import Drag Solutions. He's one of our key sponsors. You know,
Top promoter.
Top promoter, yeah. So David's car's getting here. He's here to pick it up. So it was kind of a perfect impromptu time to we're gonna go over some stuff with Cincy Street Nights. My phone's been getting blown up. Want to go over some cool stuff that Import Drag Solutions does. One of the reasons that and I don't even tell you these things before I ask you to do things.
I kind of just showed up and he's like, "Hey, by the way, your car's not done." So
I gave him a beer though.
Yeah, that's why he bribed me. Yeah. All right, let's go.
So, if you don't know what Import Drag Solution is or who Import Drag Solutions is, this is half of it. The other half is John Rogers.
He's in the shop working, so and I'm sure he is.
Yeah.
So
maybe,
apologize, John. This was not planned.
Yeah, hopefully he's watching us. But David and John, you have really raced heads up Friday, Thursday night stuff at Edgewater for what could we call it 10 years?
Probably.
I mean, it's been a long time.
We've seen the growing pains and we've seen where it's at now, and it's huge improvements. So we're excited to keep racing there.
I remember watching you guys like before I didn't even have a car. You know, I mean, I don't know if that
We're not
makes
that
you
old.
Feel, I don't know if that makes you feel old. I walked to the drag strip.
God. We're not that old. It's been a while though. We've been racing there. It's been our hometown track for a long time.
Yeah,
so.
and so back then when and we got to pay homage to Thursday night and Friday Night Lights.
Yes.
Like, no disrespect to those guys. We're just trying to take, kind of do our own thing. Next generation of people carrying the torch, if you will.
Carrying the torch.
So, like I said, no disrespect for what those guys did. Really, just without Thursday Night Lights, I will tell you this for a fact: 10 Soldier race cars would not be here. I'm serious.
That's a big deal.
Yeah. So, what Thursday Night Lights did for me, I had a Honda. I don't know. A lot of people don't know that about me. I did. I had a Honda. I had a EG hatch.
I knew we were best friends.
Yeah. And it was B swapped, and
Okay.
I did like some track days with it, like road course stuff.
Okay.
My dad always drag raced, but it was like drag racing to me was for old people. My dad was just older. We went to NHRA races, and it was just real stuffy. So then I had some buddies that invited me to a Thursday Night Lights. Brought the old EG hatch down, and took it down the race. I raced it. I don't know if I raced you. You probably don't know that, but I don't know if I raced you. I might have even raced you.
Probably.
I signed up for King of the Street in my EG hatch that ran like 14s, and because I was just making lap after lap, and that's the day that drag racing became cool to me.
People built cars for that event.
They
truly did.
Yeah.
And it's when Rule Set came out. I mean, that was a big event. It kind of laid the foundation for Edgewater. So.
No, it's cool, man. So it's really, like I said, a lot of people probably have no idea about me, but yeah, I had a Honda. Went to Thursday Night Lights.
That's when I had one.
With drag racing. Now we have 10 Soldier race cars.
Now you're back to working on the imports. So it's all good.
We got a Honda sitting up front. We can throw a 10 Soldier sticker on it. It's
That's right.
cool.
So Brad actually came from Hondas too. He loves them. So, but just real quick, we'll go over some race stuff. But tell me what Import Drag Solution is.
Man, so when you try to evolve a drag car in an import, there's not a lot of support aftermarket-wise suspension. There's just not. And goodness, it's been years, 6, 7 years now in business. And me and John had always raced together. I always followed John. John's always had fast rear-wheel drive cars forever. And, when it came down to needing suspension, we were just like, we're out of range, just out of everything. The spring rates were just way wrong. Just everything was just way wrong. So we were like, man, I wonder if we can make these fit. And at the time, we were doing QA1 stuff for a while and just buying them from Jegs and retrofitting them to the cars and doing things like that. And then we finally partnered with Chris King at Viking and met him at LS Fest of all places, and and had a really good talk. And I had no idea at the time, but Chris King was part owner of QA1, or he had financial investments to QA1. So he was really excited to see that we were going to switch from Q to Viking, and gave us a killer deal and really just kind of like made it easy to transition into a business. And we started with John's chassis. We got into an S14 chassis, and then put them on my car, and then put them on a couple local buddies' cars, and then it just snowballed. Now we got 25 different SKUs, and we're doing quite a bit. So it's hard to keep up, especially with the wait times and stuff on builds right now. But I mean, there just wasn't anything for us. So as we're learning and learning and learning, and we've evolved into what we race. We used to race just your Thursday night lights, your import face-off. You're just absolutely just not organized, just not Thursday night lights, sorry, but like IFO, stuff like that, just not organized, just import, just simple events to racing at Ducks races.
Yeah.
And like you have to step your game up, and suspension is like absolute key. So as we evolved, our customer and clientele base evolved, and just give back 100% to the customers, and it's just been a crazy ride so far.
That's
so
awesome, man.
Yeah, we're growing every day, it seems like.
No, that's cool, man. And to watch, and I'll tell you, man, I've been one of your biggest fans forever. And not like, it's just been cool to watch you and John grow your business, be a part of the local drag scene, and just thinking about Cincy Street Nights and stuff like that. Like, and I'm gonna give an asterisk there. I don't even really love the Cincy Street Night name. We kind of got conned into it.
Right. Right.
I wish we could change it, but we can't now. It's too far down the road.
People recognize the name.
Yeah, so it's good, but it's cool to watch. People like you and John invest in the local race community. Because I feel like now, Cincy Street Nights is a lot of work.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of people to make that cog turn, and it can be stressful. But Brad and I felt like it's our duty to do it. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah.
We have to give back. If we are who we say we are, we have to give back to the local drag racing community. And because of partnerships like we have with you guys and the list of other sponsors that we have, it makes it easier on us to do that. So even though you and John aren't necessarily the ones putting on the race, but you come and you race and you financially invest in that stuff, so we have good payouts.
Yeah.
Things like that. So
look at the sponsor list, right? So like the people that sponsor that event are people that race there too, like, or have raced there, or have raced at Edgewater in the past, and they just want to see it succeed. Yeah. So like, I'm blessed to we're in a position to be able to even sponsor an event with IDS, but if we have an ability to sponsor an event locally, we're going to. I mean, we're going to support it. Just, we got that much faith in you guys and Edgewater and what they're doing. So, I mean, it's pretty sweet what you guys are
the
doing.
transition of Edgewater's been pretty astounding.
Insane.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Yeah.
I messaged Brandon Mass the other day. I'm like, dude, are you gonna be anywhere 5 hours of Cincinnati in the next weekend? I gotta test my car. And he's like, I'm sorry, I'm not. I'm like, well, there goes that. I guess we're just gonna go to Bradenton untested. So.
No, and now they Edgewater's bought their own spray and drag. Like, they have a lot of their own equipment. Scotty Richardson's kind of taking control of running some stuff there, and so even with Brandon is such a talented person.
Yeah.
Even without Brandon coming in, there's still a real opportunity to have some really good prep down there.
Good.
And I think, personally, we have to get back to Cincy Street Nights is always going to be I shouldn't say always, but for this year we're going to run all of our Friday night stuff just as no prep. And a lot of that reason, they probably want to know why. The reason we do Cincy Street Nights no prep is, for one, it is easier. To bring in someone like a Brandon it takes a lot to do that.
Yeah, it's expensive.
And the way that current racing trends are, it's easier to fill a field of guys that want to run no prep. And I do understand why. Like, if you look at history, the reason that small tire racing became popular was that tire was going to be the equalizer. This small tire is what's going to keep money out.
Yep.
Well, then technology comes, payout comes, talent comes, and then they
Yep.
figure out, okay, they figured out how to make that little tire work, and then the tires got even smaller.
235 is
yeah.
are fast, man. 235
So
are fast.
it's this constant evolution of talent figuring out how to make stuff fast, and then no prep kind of came along, and then it leveled the playing field again. And I do think that the no prep playing field is starting to get unlevel now. I mean, you're going to start seeing more rules because
Yeah.
as payouts come, people with talent come, and people with resources come, and that's when you start to see the ETs going faster. I think that, and I'm not right about a lot of things. I'm just
You see it.
I'm just sharing my opinion. You know,
Yeah.
like horsepower is no longer our problem. Horsepower is pretty easy.
Yeah.
But to get that horsepower to the ground is now what's becoming hard. And now, with all the sensors and the data and all the things that we can collect, it's becoming more of a thinking man's game with their brain instead of with their foot.
Yeah.
And so that's
You kind of, at a point, I'm not going to say this out loud, but I'm going to. Driving ability is kind of taken out of it a little bit now.
yeah.
100%,
I mean, you
yeah.
still got to be, you still got to
Still
know
got to
what
be
you're
a
doing.
wheelhouse. You know, you still got to drive it, but I mean, there's a lot of assistance.
No, and I always joke, like with Brad, like, you know, my business partner Brad does all the tuning and stuff on everything, and I always say I'm the dumb redneck that gets in it.
Right.
And you know, and I'm like, if he could control
Cheers
one,
to that, by the way.
if I like being the dumb redneck that gets in it, it's fun.
Absolutely.
That's what we said today.
But I was like, man, if he could take me out of it and just have a remote control car, he would.
Right.
He's gonna start doing the no prep grudge racing with the RC cars.
Oh my gosh. We spend a lot of money getting weighed out. That's one idea right there. So.
Yeah. So, but it is just the evolution of drag racing, and it is cool to think about as drag racing evolves. People like yourselves, John, and you, and just to be on the forefront of that evolution. You may not think of yourself like that, but
Right.
you are. You know, you're doing things to cars that that people didn't want to do to. You know, what I mean,
Yeah.
I'm saying that bad, but there was no customer support. There was nothing, and you guys,
Right.
filled that problem.
We get calls, I mean, every day of try this chassis or do this chassis. And I'm like, man, this chassis has been out for 20 years. Like, nobody's done anything with it yet. Or they have, but they haven't done it in a shelf available, affordable, like order, click, buy online, JEG style of business.
Yeah.
And it's really taken off from that standpoint. But some of the calls on the chassis we get, we're like, dude, there's like 3 people that race that car. I don't know if that's worth doing it to, but help. We'll see where we get. But man, it's fun because it started off as a need for us. We fulfilled the need for our end, and then people are like, man, that's really working, like, sell it to me. I'm like, all right, cool, let's do it. That's where this whole thing starts for everybody anyways.
Yeah, you're
So-
right. Every business that's in drag racing
Yeah.
is because you needed to do it yourself.
Yeah.
And then you got pretty dang good at it.
Yeah.
So then people wanted to pay you for your time.
Yep.
So
Big shout out to Smack. He doesn't have the book of faces, but he's
Yeah.
he's been a big help too. Like, he's really like helped point us in the right direction, make sure we're not doing anything dumb,
yeah.
So
He's
he's
what's his shirt say?
consultant.
Consultant.
He's our
Yeah,
consultant.
yeah, he's got a
Yeah.
collared shirt. That really puts him up real
Yeah,
high.
we bought him a collared shirt. He had to have one. So it's
Yeah,
funny.
it's cool. But that's one of the things that we're so excited about Cincy Street Night. Just to relay that again, is just all the awesome people that we have partnerships with, the awesome local guys, and Smack. Like I before I had a car, again, I watched Smack, cobble stuff together, go out there and go really fast with what he had.
Still will not show us the race car. Still have not seen
It's
it.
top secret.
It's top secret, Area 51 stuff. He won't show it to us. So
So
it's coming out though.
it's cool. But just we've got a ton of messages and questions about registration, things like that for Cincy
Yeah.
Street Nights. The reason it's sold out is because we have not opened up registration yet. So we'll probably open it up around the 23rd, 24th which is next week. That gives us 1 month to pre-sale all the things. Small tire, A class, which is hopefully what David John's gonna run. I'm just poking him a little bit.
Yeah, man.
It's
Let's tear up the brand new car.
it's a 16 car field. There's a cap at 16 cars. It's $200 entry. And thanks to our fine sponsors, just the people that love this event, it's going to be $5,000 to win. So a $200 entry
To win $5,000.
with only 16 cars.
Wow.
So that's pretty awesome. So, you know, and I see all these flyers out now of races and this and that, and I'm like, man, $5,000 doesn't even feel like a lot anymore right now.
Man, but back to Edgewater. When have you got to race at Edgewater for $5,000?
Yeah, and going back, it's $200 for only 16 cars, so that's not a lot of rounds that
No,
you have
yeah.
to make to make it. And then one of the things that we are excited about this year, and we're going to see how it works. You know, I've seen some people that didn't agree with the way that we did stuff, but that's part of, you know, putting on a drag race. You just, you know, drag racers, man, we all got opinions, but we don't want to do anything about them.
Fair, yeah.
We just want to avoid, like, sometimes people just need to get it off their chest, and I just want to ask, like, hey, man, do you feel better now?
Right. I hope you feel better.
Yeah, I hope you feel better, because I don't, but I hope you do.
Yeah. That's the truth. Man, poor John Sears for
Yeah.
everything he does.
Yeah, now after putting on a few events and a few series, me and Brad, like, we are like the first ones to the staging lanes now.
Oh, yeah.
We are like, we try to be the best racer that we can be, because you know, drag. I say it time and time again. Drag racers are worse than herding cats. Like, you can tell them like what time they got to be somewhere, and they're like,
Yeah.
no. Craig Metcalf. I hope Craig's watching. He's always late. And Phil.
I was gonna
Phil
say.
High.
I wasn't gonna say it. I was glad you. I'm done name dropping people. I'm so glad you said Phil.
No, I love those guys. So, yeah, Phil.
Great racers.
You'd
I
be
mean,
like,
hell.
Phil, you need to be to the line at 6:30. You look back, 6:35. Phil's still in his gold chain and basketball shorts.
We love him though. God, he's a great racer. He's fun to be
Oh,
around.
he's
for
awesome,
sure.
man. I love to razz him. So, but what we did is we divided small tire into two classes. So that's why there's a 16-car cap on each. So the other class that we're calling B class, and we did that on a purpose to call it B class, because typically drag racers race with a little bit of an ego, and they do not want to be put in B class.
Yeah.
They want to run A.
Yep.
So there is a little psychological play at here. And B class, the difference between A and B is B class has to drive to and from the lanes. There's no push vehicles. There's no boosted big blocks in B class. If you have the ability to get a boosted big block, you should not have the ability to run a B class.
Right. Yeah.
And that's really, there's a couple other small things, but that's the two biggest. And then the entry's only $100, and the payout's $2,000. So it's still a decent payout, but it's not the 5. And the reason that we did that is there's two types of people that come to the drag strip. There's people that come to drink beer and hang out, and there's guys that this is their life. They through the week they're in the shop. They may own a shop, and they literally sacrifice everything to go to the drag strip. Those are the guys that are very hard to beat.
Yeah.
Those are the guys that are going to run A class. They're not going to. They're going to want it. If they're there, they're trying to get
They
that
want to shot the money. Yeah.
Yeah, they want that $5,000. So hopefully the bridge and the payout will help dictate kind of where, where the talent goes. You know, I think a lot of times we get so wrapped up in having a good rule set that we forget that, like, dude, there's people that no matter what you do, they're going to rise to the top. You know?
Oh yeah.
So, and I'm sure you've seen that. And
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you guys, I'm looking at that B class. I'm sorry, I'm the guy. I'm the guy going after that. I'm not racing any boosted big blocks, but I got the smallest block fight entering. But it's gonna be a class full of hitters. I'm telling you.
you got so many calls.
I know.
You got like
I'm a
3
businessman.
phones.
I'm sorry. Sorry, my pager just went off. But I mean, the last event you guys put on, I mean, there's people from Michigan, northern Michigan. There's people from all over the place. So you want to get in that money A class and you're local, you might want to buy a ticket quick.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
I do think that just to kind of go back to the pre-sale, sometimes people don't kind of understand why. Honestly, it's just for ease. It's less things to do when we get to the racetrack. We try to chip draw stuff before. beforehand. And if you've never been to a Cincy Street Nights, I think that Dave can expand on what I'm about to say. But I think we do a pretty fair job of keeping it organized, and it is a sprint. When you
Yes.
and a lot of guys aren't used to it. Like, you're going to run around every 30 minutes.
Well, you got to
the
put
first
together
ones
a
are-
whole event one night, and gates open. What time the gates open? I mean, yeah. So I mean, you're putting a whole event with. We're not testing it's off the trailer, right?
Small tires are off the trailer. We are going to do an early test session this time.
Okay.
But first round's not till 7 o'clock.
Yeah, I mean, you're putting rounds of hitters, of cars in that small window. I mean, there is a curfew.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, be on your game. And, I mean,
And sometimes I'm really thankful that Brad and I race.
yeah.
Because when people come up and and I'm not saying a bunch of people complain, but sometimes you're like, man, I need more time. And I'm like, listen, bud, I'm going to give you enough time that I am confident that Brad and I can turn our race car around in the amount of time that we're giving you.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a fair, way to do it. And I think one thing that we try to do at Cincy Street Nights, and I'm sure you guys have noticed it with the way that we do the national anthem, I'm so big on that. Like, 2 cars have to be in the burnout box.
Yep.
And when the national anthem, the greatest song in the world, is over, those cars have to do if you're not prepared to do the biggest burnout of your life, you
You
don't
ain't
need
first.
you don't need
You
to be
ain't
the first too.
Bow out of it. Just let the guy behind you go.
Because this is a show.
Yep.
That's why people come. That's why people like to be in the stands. And we cannot have breaks. We got to, I know oil downs happen, things like that happen. But we want to be bang, 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 bang until it's done.
Nobody wants to split, man. Nobody wants to get down to the finals or semifinals and have to split 4 ways or split because of curfew, stuff like that. So nobody, especially people traveling, they don't want to deal with that.
No, and that's a lot of the questions that we get is, why do you limit classes? Why do you do the pre-reg? And it's like, well, we only have, if you're unfamiliar with Edgewater, we really need to be done by about 11:30. We can go till 12, and they are doing some stuff to work on the curfew.
Yeah.
But we do have this small window that we're trying to pack a lot in, and thankfully we've always the event's been popular. So it's honestly it's been pretty easy to sell out the stuff. So it just makes everything easier from when you get there. And I know, man, but it is 2021. Technology, man, we've made it easy. We've made, since last year, you had to go on Tin Soldiers website to buy tech cards. This year, Cincy Street Nights has its own thing. So you'll go on there, buy your tech cards. And I want to say this now, and I'll probably post it again, we're not saving tech cards for anyone. If once it's open, you go, you buy your tech card. That tech card is also non-refundable. So if you break or if you can no longer make it to the event, you have a tech card, it is your responsibility to get rid of it.
Okay, so you can sell it.
You can sell it, but for our small tire classes, once the chip draw is done, so we're going to try to get it done like that Wednesday or Thursday before the event. Once the chip draw's done, you're in.
Yep.
If you can't make it, then that person has a first round bye. But there's no transferring the card once the chips fall.
Once the chip, okay, good point.
So, yeah, and I just think that's the fair way to do it, man.
No,
Like,
absolutely.
once you draw the chip, dude, you're committed.
locked
That's
in.
who you're racing. And we'll always do a chip draw, just because I don't know. People have asked about the chips are fair. Whatever you pull out, and then we chip draw onto a ladder. That way we don't have to do it all night. So like if you're chip number 1, your number 1 qualifier, it's a 16 car pro ladder, just like what you would run in AHRA.
Yeah.
And like I said, we do that for time.
Yeah.
So that way, as you go, they can fill it out, and it's we're not chip drawing every time. It's not this big thing. So
Heck yeah.
do you like that?
I do like it. I do like the chip draw. I like the online thing. It's fun to see who you're racing and kind of get prepped for it and stuff like that. It kind of brings some energy to the event. But I like the ladder because I'm the guy that makes my pass. I have a guy on the starting line watching everybody's stuff.
Yeah.
When you're there, you're racing for money. I mean, most of our team, at least somebody stays on the starting line and they're watching cars.
Yeah.
So if I know who I got next round, I can kind of play with that too. So us racers know how to do stuff too. So, you know, we got it kind of figured out as well. But you know, I think it's great that you do the ladder. It's easier that way too. So you can watch the broke buys. You can watch. You just know where you're at, know who you're racing. Plus, for you guys putting on the event, if you are paying attention to who you have next, pair up next to them in the lanes, right?
Yeah.
Let's make it easy on everybody. Like, you know who you're racing next to. Pair up next to them. That way it just goes through and gets the event done. So.
Well, and that was the other thought of breaking the small tire class up into two is first round's always really difficult. Like when we had 32 cars coming down at once.
Yeah.
Which that doesn't sound like a lot of cars, but to get 32 guys paired up can take some time.
Yeah.
So now we split that in half, so you're only getting 6, so that's only 8 pair first round, which is a lot easier to deal with. Our index guys, which we're not talking about you right now, but that doesn't make you any less important. We love that you're there. We try to pay out really well. If there's 32 cars in our 1150 and 13.0 index class, it's a $50 entry. It's 100% payback, so it's going to be $1,600 to win our
That's good too.
you know our 13.0 and 1150 index. So and that's at 32 cars, which we've never had a problem filling that. And then we've added hard tire this year. We took away True Street, which there were some people that were sad about that. But I love True Street. I really did, man. It's just it all goes back to time and resources. So there's Brad and I, if we're trying to tech all the cars, we're trying to do all this, and we have people that do come and help us. But at the end of the day, all the decisions we're the two that are putting on the event. We take full responsibility for stuff. Yep. So last year we had a couple cars that slipped through. We had some arguments and stuff. It's okay. People get heated. It's just how drag racing is. But we went back and we looked at our stressors, right? Things that were hard for that night. And it kept going back to True Street. So we're like, man, we need to simplify this. So that's when we decided hard tire would be a good way to go. Because it's a 200 tread wear deal. So it's an actual street tire. You're not allowed to run a drag radial. That's pretty easy to tech. You got to drive it to and from the lanes, and that's really about all the rules. So, you know, and it's going to be pretty difficult to get down that.
Hard tire on no prep.
Yeah.
Fun to watch. So.
Yeah. So, you know, we still wanted to have the street car class. It's tough to have a street car class. Yeah, I mean, like your car, you know, you could drive, your car could fit a street car class, you know, and it's been what, 50s, 60s?
It's been 60s.
So it's going to go 50s this year. We blew on it, so it's going to.
It's here, so it's going 50s.
So, you know, that's a car that, you know, if you wanted to, you know, you could drive it to the track if you wanted to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's got a little bit smaller cell in it now, but there's nothing else. I mean, still charging system and stuff. So
yeah, and
it's still good.
Like
all water.
The Buick that Brad Arnold's Buick, that's a real deal street car. Like he drives it to work all the time, and that thing's been, you know, I think it's been 60s too. I can't remember exactly how fast Brad Arnold's car's been. Which shout out to Max Rail Diesel, presenting sponsor of all of it. Nice. So they're really investing in our local community of racing. But that's what I'm saying. The street car term is so broad.
Yeah. And
like I said, 2 cars right there that they would fit. You know, the only thing, they don't have AC, but I mean, other than that, you could drive around.
Yeah, I mean, some of the street car stuff is getting, I mean, everybody knows it's getting out of hand.
It's tough, man.
I mean, it's a tough class. I mean, there's, especially local, we got, I mean, Dan Wrench and Zirkle and all them guys, I mean, them are 6-second
street cars.
Street cars, legitimately.
Yeah, they could drive, those guys could drive those cars to the track
100%.
if they wanted to.
So
we looked at everything and we're like, man, the easiest thing to do is to put these guys on a hard tire. That's going to take a lot of the horsepower out of it, and they're going to have to figure out how to get down through here on the hard tire. So,
love it.
Zach, we got any questions? Cool. There's nobody watching us?
Yeah, we got 30.
Oh, nice.
We've explained everything, so a good meeting is when you have no questions.
Yeah, we did really good.
We're all good.
So
rules for A class. So you're allowed boosted big blocks?
Boosted big blocks are in.
Okay.
Basically, steel roof and quarters on 28-10-5.
That's it.
That's about it. So
that's all the rules. Okay.
Yeah. And that's actually how it was last year.
Yeah.
A lot of times people put imaginary rules in.
Yeah.
I'm not picking, but like it's true. Like because we did a couple like prep shootouts at Edgewater, and in the prep shootouts we put no boosted big block, so people just assumed that rule carried over to no prep. Well, we never put it there.
Right.
So, and people do get I've people mad that you write boosted big block out of the rule on the prep stuff, and it's like, dude,
That's a fast car.
I mean, gosh, it's, I think the easiest way to see when you make rules, you look at the potential of a combo. The easiest way to see the potential of something, how fast something to go, is you look at small tire radial stuff, because that's most of those guys well funded, racetrack's super good. So
LDR Pro 275 stuff.
and you can see how fast that combo
Yeah.
can go. And most guys that run locally heads up stuff, they're going to have a boosted big block. Or I'm sorry, they're going to have a boosted small block, or a big block on nitrous, or there's not that many boosted big blocks. So it's I hate it that you write a few guys out, but that's just what makes the most sense.
Boosted big blocks are rode out of a lot of races. I mean, it's a fast combo. I mean, it has a key advantage on a prep track. So
Yeah, and I think the no prep takes some of that out of it,
Yeah.
but they can still back half really hard.
Yep.
So that's kind of why another reason we did the A and the B class. But yeah.
How many events this year? 6.
We're doing 6. One thing that I'm really excited about that I haven't even posted about is
Exclusive.
it is an exclusive. So you see all the Wallies behind me? These are my dad's. These are NHRA Wallies. They're really, I'm really proud of my dad, man. It's really cool.
That's awesome. I want one.
So, you're going to have an opportunity to win a Wally. So the last Cincy Street Nights of the year, we're gonna maybe try to do some stuff with payout, but NHRA has a program for small tire racers to win a Wally.
No kidding.
The guys at Edgewater have done that. They've got the paperwork already filled out, and so the last one, you will be able to win a Wally. Legit.
Daggone.
It's pretty cool. I'm like more excited about that.
Yeah, that's
like,
pretty cool.
Like I might race the last one.
Yeah, that's pretty big deal, really. I didn't know
is.
nothing about that.
Yeah, nobody does. It's an exclusive.
I like it. I'm glad I was a part of that.
So,
Man, Wally, that's huge.
it is. It's cool, man.
That's going to bring a crowd.
Yeah, I'm excited about to give. And what I'd really like to do, and it means something to us, but maybe nobody else. But I'd love to have my dad give it to whoever.
Oh, that would be cool, too. Yeah.
So these aren't even all of his. I mean,
He's got a trophy room.
yeah, he's a bad mother effer.
See all the stuff, man. It's nice.
So he makes us look like winners,
You got big shoes to fill, Bob.
Yeah, they're not filling really easily.
No. Well, now you got your chance to win one.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm gonna borrow a car. You got a car?
No, it's not finished yet.
Oh,
man, I'm looking. It's not a big deal. You put me up to this. I don't know. It looks good though. God, the car looks great. It does. I'm excited for it.
Thanks.
We got 2 weeks to finish a race car test, and then drive to Bradenton.
It's cool. So it's cool to watch you guys go out and blossom and go to the other races and stuff, and then still participate locally. So
We want to. We want to stay local. We've last year was tough on everybody racing, right? We had, heck, I think this time last year there was events getting canceled because of the nonsense that was going on. So, to see racing kind of just start back up like nothing happened. We're ready to go. Like everybody's ready to party now. So I'm excited for this season. A lot of cars are fast. There's a lot of fast cars coming out. So a lot of cars were in hibernation last year. So
no, I think our last Cincy Street Nights, we had a little over 3,000 people
Cool.
and that was with kids and stuff. So,
yeah.
We're hoping that this year we have some 5,000 ones. Just with people, getting rid of the COVID restrictions and stuff. Edgewater we had one night that I think you guys were there when we did the prep shootout when the Street Outlaw guys were there.
Yeah, it was like 5,000 there.
There was
wasn't
5,000 people. And this is what I'm going to say to that. I got a bet with Dan Weinley, which Dan's one of the owners. Dan's awesome. He said that there's no way that you guys will ever break what happened with the Street Outlaws. And this is what I have to say to that. We have a lot of really awesome people locally that are phenomenal racers. And I'm not taking anything. I'll never be that guy to take anything away with what the Street Outlaw guys have done. I think that they are carrying a torch for drag racing. They've done great things for it. But if we can come out and support guys that are from halfway across the country, we got to come out and support the David Varners of the world,
Yep.
the John Rogers, the Phil Hineses, the Nicky Bobbies. You know, all the guys that show up that are local. You know, I want to see them, you know, famous locally for what they're doing in the drag racing community. So.
Oh, no doubt. 5,000 will happen. We got a great media guy. He'll just like put everything out there.
Yeah, we got a media guy now.
Got
We're
a
way
great
better.
media guy.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
absolutely.
We're growing up. You know, Cincy Street Nights, growing up.
So proud of you guys. That's awesome. I'm excited for it. I'm excited just to race local, man. I love driving to Bradenton. Like I was telling you before this live feed started happening, is like, it's great to race down there because if stuff goes real south, you're by the beach and you can just enjoy your, you know, margarita in the sand, you know. But that 16-hour drive to go down there and compete is nerve-wracking getting a car ready for. So I really like racing 30 minutes from home. So.
Well, there is a beach at Edgewater. It's right by the little Miami.
That is true. That is true. That is true. I'll bring my fishing poles, I guess.
No, and the last thing, and then we're done. We've rambled long enough, but you know the bar at the end of the racetrack that
I'm very familiar. Yes.
Yeah. So
I know what you're talking about.
yeah, so there's a lounge basically at the end of the racetrack with a deck, and it's right at the 8th mile. They've redone that whole thing.
Oh, nice.
Like granite countertops, like whole night. It is
Way too high class for me.
It's very nice.
Yeah.
So they're calling it the First Round Lounge, and it's just going to be an awesome place to have a beverage and sit out on the deck and watch racing happen. So
That's huge.
it's cool, man. It's really
cool.
cool. So, but we won't take up any more of your time. Just to review the tickets for tech cards and all that stuff sometime next week. And yeah, man, we only got just a little over a month. So
Racing starting.
And then
Get your cars ready.
So yeah, and let's just hope for the weather to be awesome.
It'll be good. It's
All
good.
right. See you guys. David, thanks for coming.
No problem, man.
You got suckered into it, but here you are.
It was worth it. All good.
All right, you can close this out, Zach. See ya.